I guess when I first started kind of like driving down the roads back home and started seeing people spray paint, it kind of made me start kind of thinking about how I could release my imagination myself. So that's what kind of got me into spray painting, I guess you'd say. I had a big wall in my garage, so I guess that was always practice. And then after that, it was, I guess, moving here to Castle Hill and on so from there. Yeah, I think I first found out about Castle Hill from my buddy Robert, which he kind of brought to my attention. So that's when we kind of explored here.
I mean, starting out, there wasn't as many people here as you see here today. It started out real small, like a lot of the local artists started here. And, you come out here and see 4 or 5 different local artists doing their pieces.
So I feel like the fact they gave us Castle Hill gave us a place to spray paint and to release, I guess, our creativity and experiment a little bit.
It's kind of like a little game out there with other street artists. They're trying to get their name up as high as they possibly can. And if you cover it up, it's kind of like stomping their name out and kind of saying, hey, no, I'm here to send this message, and this is who I am.
I guess the bad thing is about that is that everybody comes here and does it now. So it's like you see the great art that was on the wall get covered up by something that isn't as good, you know what I mean? And I feel like the number one rule in graffiti is basically if you're going to cover something up, you got to cover it up better.
The local artists doing their pieces, but now they don't really come out here too much because when they do a piece, it's covered up within 5 to 10 minutes after they leave. There's been a few pieces that I've done, and I come back the next day just to see if it's still here, and it's already have somebody's really shitty name or someone's name written along the bottom of it, or they have male genitalia all over it. It's not fun anymore at that point. So I think a lot of them have moved out into places where generally you're not supposed to. But it gets their message out, and it takes a lot longer for people to cover it up, aside from city workers and other taggers. I think as far as Austin embracing it and the artwork, I think it's awesome. I've noticed that it's taking a little bit longer. Some of the better pieces, it's taking a lot longer for them to cover it up because a lot of people don't want to cover it up because somebody's done a really cool giraffe sent by Lamar, or somebody's done a really awesome elephant. I think that the city's embraced it fairly well. Of course, you have the people that that write things that aren't the coolest things to put, and I think that's where the battle is between the people that do really good artwork and then the people that just want to put their name out there and really bad names.
The only way street art would have a negative connotation, I guess, is because you're defacing someone's public property or private property. I feel like there's definitely not a private property. Like, private property is something that you don't want to cross the line to. I feel like that's getting to the point where it's vandalism. My point of view on, I guess, the city's property, like electric boxes and stuff like that, is that we have so many electric boxes around town that why wouldn't you want to decorate those and make your town look better? You know what I mean? So there's certain limits that street art could be beneficial, and it could be, resentful of that too. Street art is going to be an expensive hobby. Once you get into it a little bit more, experiment and expand your pieces. Once you start kind of layering your pieces up to the point where you have backgrounds, front rounds, and accents, that's when you're going to start, spending a little bit more money. You got caps you're going to be falling up, that you're going to be lining up with because they're going to get clogged up. So eventually, over time, it does cost a little money, but there's more expensive hobbies out there. I guess if you're not browsing online for caps or anything, I would be going to get most of my street art from Spray TX, which is a local, a local paint dispenser here in Austin. Specialized for graffiti. If all else fails, I guess I'll be going to a Planet K or something just to find good cans.
Everywhere that's not what it's for. It's for people that feel like they're being maybe repressed in a way. It's their form to show that hey, this is an important message that I want to let people know about because it's a form of expression. It's how you get your message out to the world and what you feel about it.